If you really knew me, you would know that I cry a lot. I spoke those words to my then freshman AVID class on December 8, 2010, as part of an activity I received from my then AVID partner, Jen LaFlamme. Despite being a teacher who planned everything out in advance, I hadn't scripted those words. In fact, I hadn't expected to say them at all, ever, let alone to a class of 9th graders staring at a picture of an iceberg. But I said them, and then I kept talking about the quirk of my emotional wiring. And after a few more words about trying not to cry watching the movie Tangled with a friend, I unexpectedly burst into tears with 64 eyes on me. For years, I was afraid of those tears. I worried that others would think less of me, would call me weak or weird for my sentimentality. It was a challenge to suppress such an integral part of myself, but carefully hide it I did. And my leaky tear ducts remained a secret until that lesson, when suddenly I discovered I felt safe sharing something with my AVID class that I'd never shared before with anyone. My AVID students did not think me weak or weird, or at least they didn't say they did. In fact, the next day, given their own opportunity to complete the statement, "If you really knew me," they followed my lead. Many shed tears as well, and we all grew closer for it. AVID, to that point, had been a somewhat trying experience. My students had become solid, albeit grumbling Cornell note-takers. Our tutorials were improving, and we'd done a few memorable team-building activities. But the class was still cliquish, and none of my kids seemed capable of staying quiet for even a single minute. I wondered every day how long it would take for those 14 and 15-year-olds to mature into a cohesive, academically focused unit. I tried modifying my discipline plan. I restructured our routines. I even threatened to stop teaching AVID a few times. Nothing worked, but openness did. From the moment we did that iceberg activity and everyone lowered their respective water lines, our class was different. We finally felt comfortable with and connected to one another, and our conversations morphed from superficial to personal and authentic. I learned the challenges so many of them faced in their lives every day, and I realized just how worried so many of them were about their futures. Some simply believed they hadn't been dealt a capable of success in school card. Knowing this, we had the traction to band together, acknowledging our respective insecurities, but checking them at the door, ready to uncover their paths to success. And then AVID made it possible. My students used the support of AVID and the safety of my classroom for 4 years to better themselves and grow as students and young adults. A girl felt out of place in Honors English 10, so we talked about it. She earned a B+ that term, and this past fall made the Dean's List at CSU Monterey Bay. And that's just one. The powerful stories in my class are too numerous to recount here today. But in each, my kids' comfort with each other and with me transformed AVID from a study skills seminar into a powerful support system that became a family for all of us. Truly, we were a family. Just take a look at a small sampling of what our 4 years were like. This was us as freshmen. It was on a wacky dress day, don't worry. You can see as sophomores already, the closeness was there. This was during our end-of-year pictures. Same thing with junior year. It's not hard to see the family atmosphere there. This was our final Thanksgiving potluck as seniors. Ignore the Krispy Kremes. This was a part of a photo scavenger hunt we did together. This was on a wacky dress-up day. This was not a coincidence. This was another part of a photo scavenger hunt. Almost everyone's in the air. This was us at the senior ball that they had looked forward to since day one of freshman year. This was our last class picture and last class selfie. And then this was graduation. And then there's me. AVID changed me forever. And I'm not just talking about my receding hairline. Inspired by my students, I learned to take chances, be they teaching out AP Calculus, coordinating our school's Challenge Day program, singing on stage at Franklin Idol, or confronting my fear of heights on the Dive Devil at Six Flags during our AVID SoCal trip, flanked by 2 of my AVID students, by the way. Enlightened by their stories, I reevaluated my mindset and finally saw students as people, teaching me compassion and patience where previously there was little. And more than anything else, their belief and faith in me gave me confidence. I've always suffered from low self-esteem, and I've struggled my whole life with seeing myself worthwhile. But pushing my AVID class improved their lives and gave me purpose, and my kids accepted me for me, tears and all. Truly, I love those 34 students, and I cherished helping them take charge of their educations and futures. Embracing each one after they received their diplomas last May was my proudest moment and a testament to AVID's transformative power. For years, I've attended the AVID Summer Institute here in Sacramento, and I've listened to students speak about how AVID transformed them and helped them find their paths. And I understand now what they meant, because my AVID experience transformed me as well. AVID and the deep connections it fostered opened up new worlds and perspectives for my students, but just as many for me. Because of my class's influence, I became the best version of myself, empowered by their support and willing to share and offer similar encouragement to all of my students. I even found the strength to talk about tears in front of all of you today. I can never thank them enough for giving me that. Without my AVID class and our unforgettable 4 years growing up together, I would not be the teacher or man I am today. Thank you.